Spawn, released in 1997, is one of those films that reminds you what Hollywood was like when it still took wild risks. Before comic book movies became billion-dollar franchises, Spawn dared to look grimy, chaotic, and tragic. A world drenched in fire, steel, and betrayal. Now, rewatching it today through Arrow Video's 4K Ultra HD restoration, the movie feels like a time capsule of unfiltered 90s ambition, a flawed, fascinating experiment that's finally gotten the home release it deserves. The story follows Al Simmons, played by Michael Jai White, a government assassin betrayed by his corrupt boss Jason Wynn, murdered and sent to hell. Simmons makes a desperate deal with the devil to return to Earth, only to become Spawn, a soldier of darkness caught between vengeance and redemption. Now, that moral tug of war is what makes the film more than just a special effect showcase. Al isn't just your typical superhero, he's broken, hunted, and half damned, fighting not just enemies but his own nature. Michael Jai White grounds the film with physical presence and emotional control. Behind the heavy prosthetics, you still feel his rage and confusion. His performance gives Spawn its humanity, a man mourning what he's lost but still trying to cling to a purpose. It's a shame his nuanced work was overlooked back then because he brings dignity to a character trapped between myth and metal. John Leguizamo as the clown and his monstrous alter ego Violator gives the movie its chaotic energy. He's grotesque, hilarious, and disturbing, switching from a sleazy humor to demonic horror in seconds. His performance might be over the top, but that's the point. He represents everything corrupt and mocking about the world Al wants to change. Now, Leguizamo's commitment, even enduring hours of suffocating prosthetics, gives Spawn the personality that keeps it memorable. Then there's Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn, the puppet master whose greed and ambition triggers all the chaos. Sheen plays him like a cold corporate general, too calm, too smug, and entirely believable as the kind of man who sells the world to control it. His scenes opposite Jai White shimmer with quiet hatred. The ideological clash reflects the film's real struggle between duty and conscience. Underneath all the fire and fury, there's tragedy. Spawn isn't about glory, it's about loss. When Al visits his former wife Wanda, now remarried and happy, the film pauses for its rare human heartbeat. That single moment when a man sees his life he can never return to gives Spawn its soul. That's where the movie emotional core truly lies. Beneath the armor, beneath the chains, is a man who's trying to make peace with his damnation. Now, visually, the film is a product of its time, and that's part of its charm as well. The direction by Mark A.Z. Diep, a former ILM effects artist, gives Spawn a comic book intensity, wide angles, industrial sets, and bursts of color slicing through shadows. Now, the pacing is uneven, some scenes cut too fast, others linger, but the aesthetic ambition is undeniable. The late 90s industrial soundtrack by Filter, Marilyn Manson, and The Prodigy adds a rebellious pulse that locks it to its era. It's noisy, it's grim, and it fits perfectly. Now onto Arrow Video's 4K Ultra HD restoration, and this is where the film finally comes alive again. The new 4K scan, supervised by cinematographer Guillermo Navarro, gives the movie a richer contrast and restored color balance. The Dolby Vision HDR reveals the depth in the shadows and highlights the metallic blues and fiery reds that define its infrared palette. The image isn't over-sharpened, it retains that 90s film grain that gives Spawn its texture. You can see the practical prosthetics, the grim, and even the imperfections of early digital compositing, and somehow that honesty makes it look even better than ever. The audio gets a powerful upgrade with DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. The soundtrack hits deep, especially in scenes where the chains whip or the violators roars. The industrial metal score slams through the speaker with clean separation and ambient sounds, like the hum of the hell's energy and the echoing of corridors of Wine's lab, fill the space very beautifully. But what really makes Arrow Edition special is its bonus content. Easily one of the most comprehensive collector packages of the 90s comic adaptation. It features two versions of the film, the theatrical and director's cut, so fans can compare pacing and tone. Then there's a treasure trove of new interviews, like Hell's Perfect Son by Michael Jai White, reflecting the physical and emotional toll of the role, Spawn support with Melinda Clarke and D.B. Sweeney, shedding light on the film's overlooked relationships. Then there's Devil in the Details, a brilliant piece by Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger, walking through the animatronics and practical gore. And then there's Order of Chaos with editor Michael Kuhn, explaining how the visual rhythm of Spawn was cut together in an era of limited VFX computing. And of course, there's Todd McFarlane himself, outspoken as always, giving candid commentary about what worked, what didn't, and how Hollywood diluted some of the darker scenes. His honesty makes the documentary worth watching alone. The packaging continues Arrow's high standards. The limited edition includes a rigid slipcase, a reversible sleeve with original theatrical and newly commissioned artwork, and a 60-page booklet featuring essays, production stills, and McFarlane's concept sketches. There's even a fold-up poster for display, a true collector's piece rather than a standard studio release. Technically, Spawn looks and sounds like the best it ever has. Narratively, it's still imperfect, rushed in places, uneven in tone, but it's full of sincerity. Watching it again, you realize it was ahead of its time in showing a morally toned anti-hero long before the MCU made that formula mainstream. So what do we have here? A flawed masterpiece, part horror, part superhero drama, part industrial opera. The story falters, the effects occasionally stumble, but the emotional beneath, a man cursed to fight for redemption in a world built on sin, still hits. For me, Spawn in Arrow Videos 4K UHD earns a 4 out of 5, 1 star purely for Arrow's meticulous restorations and deep bonus content. This is not just a nostalgic revival, it's a re-evaluation of a misunderstood film that dared to make hell personal. Now this movie is a must-watch.